Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're tackling a topic where the stakes literally couldn't be higher. We are talking about a life-saving medical treatment that is, quite honestly, a biological transplant of healthy bacteria. Yep, we are talking about stool. We're diving into human biology, the gut microbiome, and the surprisingly massive role that international borders play in our health. Because when you really look at the data, protecting your physical well-being sometimes requires a full-blown geopolitical strategy. Okay, let's dive into this. Our bodies, they absolutely do not care about passports or regulatory roadblocks. But what actually happens when your biology demands a treatment that your home country can't easily provide anymore? We're going to explore how an incredibly effective cure for a severe gut infection basically got trapped behind borders, and why having an international strategy is becoming an absolute medical necessity. So here's our roadmap for today. We'll be covering 1. The recurrent C. diff crisis. 2. The colonoscopy gold standard. 3. The U.S. access roadblock. 4. Navigating global FMT options. And finally, 5. Securing your Plan B. Section 1. The recurrent C. diff crisis. Now, to truly understand the cure, we really have to understand the crisis. In the United States alone, C. diff causes nearly 500,000 infections and tens of thousands of fatalities every single year. It creates this vicious biological loop that is just incredibly difficult to break. The reality on the ground is pretty sobering. Standard antibiotics might wipe out the active bacteria, sure, but they leave these dormant spores behind. And when those spores wake up, the infection just comes roaring back. 20% of patients get completely trapped in this recurrent cycle. Worse, up to 8% face severe cases, where mortality can literally spike to over 40%. And for 10 to 20% of patients, standard antibiotics just stop working altogether. It's a real nightmare. But when antibiotics fail, science steps in with a brilliantly logical solution: the fecal microbiota transplant, or FMT. Instead of just carpet bombing the gut with more antibiotics, FMT transfers highly screened microbiota from a healthy donor directly into the patient. Think of it like replanting a devastated forest with a diverse, thriving ecosystem. It is the ultimate biological reset, reestablishing healthy bacteria to naturally outcompete the C. diff. It might sound a bit unconventional, but man, it works. Section 2, the colonoscopy gold standard. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the massive divide in how we actually treat this. On one side, you've got commercial therapies like Rebiota and Voust, which are delivered via enema or a pill. And they're fine for mild prevention, but they really lack sufficient evidence for severe cases. On the flip side, we have conventional FMT delivered via colonoscopy. So why is it better? Because it delivers the healthy microbiota directly and deeply into the cecum, it lets doctors visually confirm the diagnosis right then and there, and it boasts a success rate of over 80%. Just look at the 2024 Clinical Practice Guideline from the American Gastroenterological Association. They are absolutely clear on this. Quote, "The first dose of FMT for severe or fulminant CDI should be delivered via colonoscopy or flexible sigmoidoscopy. For critically ill patients, this specific lower gastrointestinal route is absolutely crucial. It is quite literally a lifesaver." Section 3, the U.S. access roadblock. So, what exactly is happening in the U.S.? Well, before 2024, American hospitals had pretty broad access to shipped frozen FMT from nonprofit stool banks. It was a total lifeline for so many people. But then, on December 31st, 2024, OpenBiome halted these U.S. shipments. The result? Right now, from 2025 onward, accessing conventional colonoscopy-delivered FMT in the U.S. has become highly restricted. It's basically leaving patients with the most severe cases out in the cold. And this shift didn't just cut off access. It created a staggering economic divide. To put this into perspective, the global median cost for conventional FMT is about $880. But in the US, patients are now being pushed toward licensed commercial products that range from $9,000 to over $20,000 per treatment. That is a massive financial hurdle layered right on top of a medical crisis. Which brings us to Section 4, navigating global FMT options. And this brilliantly illustrates that solutions absolutely exist beyond domestic borders. We can basically break international FMT access down into 3 distinct tiers. In Tier 1, Australia is vastly ahead of the curve. In Tier 2, you have places like Canada, the UK, and Portugal offering really strong access through academic centers. And finally, we have accessible medical tourism hubs like Turkey and Poland, where private clinics are offering world-class FMT without the massive bureaucratic wait times. Australia is without a doubt the platinum standard here. They have a formal stool banking system totally integrated with the Red Cross and full Therapeutic Goods Administration approval for colonoscopy delivered FMT. They are literally the global model for doing this right.
Section 5. Securing your Plan B.
We often think of a second passport or secondary residency as just a travel perk or maybe a tool for tax optimization. But when local healthcare systems fail you, a Plan B passport acts as a literal insurance policy for your health. If a treatment like conventional FMT is effectively blocked in your home country, having legal residency or citizenship somewhere else ensures you aren't just trapped by local regulations. And you have some incredibly strategic pathways available right now. If you have around $100,000 in savings, or maybe some remote work flexibility, you can really open these doors. Canada offers express entry for top-tier hospital access. Malta has the MEIN program, which fast-tracks you to EU citizenship. Portugal gives you a clear path to the EU's progressive microbiota regulations. Or, if you have immediate needs, medical tourism in Turkey offers state-of-the-art care at a total fraction of U.S. costs. We've covered the science of the microbiome, the really restrictive shifts in U.S. regulations, and the incredible medical infrastructure waiting for you abroad. But I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought to chew on. Your wealth, your assets, and your health are fundamentally tied to your global mobility. So if your life suddenly depended on crossing a border to get a treatment your home country wouldn't provide, what is your plan B? Think about it. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.